for me, I feel like it was all the intangibles I learned in undergrad that were worth the money. And I think, again, I'm not going to judge anyone that goes the trade route or goes direct to their career.
Sure.
But for me, and I was in that boat. I didn't know. I changed my major like 5 times in school. Like I didn't know that I wanted to go do this ever in school. And so for me, it was more about like teaching me accountability, teaching me maturity, teaching me how to be a leader, teaching me how to communicate with a really diverse, but maybe some of that's already being done. Like you said, like maybe the next generation is going to be so good at online communication because they're so used to social media and they're so used to just living with the internet that like they're already great at that when they
and so tolerant of everyone's beliefs and everyone's lifestyles where it's like maybe they don't have to be in a situation for 4 years where they're with total strangers and have to learn how to live with that.
Right. That may be true. Yeah. For me, and it's not like I came into school raging racist and then I left.
No,
like,
sure.
But I think it definitely, I came in having a totally homogeneous, like, childhood. Like I lived in a small town in Maine. Pretty much everybody was the same there. Everyone was pretty much very similar income class, very similar, and there was some diversity, but for the most part, it was pretty very much the same, compared to like a city or anything like that. And then even though I went to a school that was also by university or college standards, still homogeneous, it was so much more broader, and then I went to DC and lived in Arlington, and it was like, this is crazy. This is, there's people from every income class, every race across the globe, like all working together, all living together, all experiencing life together. And you got to deal with that. And it doesn't take long. Like for me, it was like at Grove City, it was like being in a work group with somebody that you don't get along with, like, whereas in high school, I think I just blew that person off. At Grove, like the job, the projects were hard enough and the pressure was there enough for you to get good grades to the point where like you had to overcome that person.
Sure.
Like you couldn't just blow them off. You had to overcome.
Right.
And then like it didn't take long at all working in my professional career where you bump elbows with somebody that like works at your company.
That's right.
Or is your customer or is whatever that you don't really get along with. And now you need that skill.
That's right.
And you need that skill right then.
That's right.
You can't develop that skill 6 months from now.
Right.
Like, because you're already going to trash that relationship if you're bad at it.
Yeah.
And that when you're working full time, like that's a job. That could be a job.
That's
if
right.
It's like a supervisor, that could they could just never promote you.
That's right.
Or fire you.
The implications are so much bigger.
Right.
Yeah. Like even like getting into a fight, a physical fight in high school, you're getting detention. In adulthood, you could be getting jail time. It's just
you get in a physical fight with somebody you don't like at work. Like,
right. You're losing your job and you're gonna have a hearing of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's so interesting growing up, man.
Yeah. So that, and that's good. That's life. You get training wheels and you kind of go through it. And I think to me, that's why having a mentor, I think some of the best advice I've ever gotten is just
agreed.
Always have a mentor and always be a mentor. Like, I think that's ridiculously good advice.
Yeah.
Don't be shy about asking and don't be shy about offering.
That's right.
Because I think you should always be a mentor and you should always have a mentor.
That's right. I agree. And I'd even add to that saying, a mentor who isn't your parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone who hasn't been there from the beginning. And that isn't that you don't look at as a parent, but being able to look at a mentor as a mentor is huge. If that makes sense. That makes sense to me. I don't know if that sounds like gibberish, whatever, but
no, I think that's and I think you're going to go through different phases of life. Like for me, I had a mentor in college, and that wasn't the same mentor that I had when I was a young adult working full time. For some people it is, and that's great. For me, that was a different person for a different phase of life, for a different scenario. I've found that mentors often are tied to geography and that they're often tied to some type of vocation.
Sure.
Not necessarily, because I've had great spiritual mentors that have transcended vocation and geography. But I think the best mentors I've ever had are ones that were where I lived. And were ones that, I mean, looking back, the best mentors for me were not like, there hasn't been one singular mentor that I've just had all the way through. They've been great mentors for a season. Got an amazing mentor in high school. I had an amazing mentor in college, and my high school mentor didn't carry through to college. And my college mentor didn't carry through to the first 4 years of my professional career, which I had another one, amazing one then. And then, like I said, I mean, I've been fortunate to start the business with a guy who's an amazing mentor to me and has been. And so he's been my mentor for the last 7 years. But yeah, that's one way you can kind of keep up. I think as an adult, you have to find ways to add training wheels. Because like when you're a kid, your training wheels are added for you, hopefully. Not for everybody, unfortunately. But like if you have good parents, if you have a good community, you've got training wheels.
No doubt.
On.
Yep.
And then college, like you're paying for your training wheels. You're like, okay, I'm not ready to be an adult yet. I'm going to pay you a crap ton of money. And you're going to be my training
Help
wheels.
Me.
And they're like, okay, we'll do it. We're going to charge you an arm and a leg, but we are your training wheels. And then like you get out of college and it's like,
that's right.
I was like, okay, find some. You better find some. And I'm convinced that like you don't ever reach a point where you really know how to ride the bike.
No.
Like
I would agree with that.
You always need to be looking for training wheels.
Yeah. The moment you stop learning or even stop asking for help, is the moment there where you've lost touch with something.
Right.
Like,
that's the moment where you think you know how to ride a bike, but you're really careening down a hill out of control.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And then if you don't have the self-awareness, then you're eventually going to crash and it's not good. Like I think I've learned this. Mentors in my life, I'm sure in yours as well, have helped me become more self-aware. Not necessarily like take ownership over my decisions, but they just help me become self-aware to make good decisions.
Yeah, they bring perspective. A good mentor brings perspective. Like, get ready, dude, because you're about to go down a steep hill.
That's right.
And you're like, oh, cool, because I never would have known that. Like, first year of marriage, buckle up. It was really hard for us. Like, oh, cool, because I thought marriage was just going to be awesome. Like, I finally found the love of my life, and we decided to do it. And like, of course, it's going to be great. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be great, but statistically, like by far the most number of divorces happen in year one.
Yeah, that's true.
So like it's not a cakewalk.
Right. But like I would say the mentor leader, the good mentor is there when they say that, and then they're at the end of year one. Right. Saying how did it go? I'm here for you. I'll listen to you. Yeah.
This is what's next.
Yeah. Finding a good mentor is a key to just a good existence. It's good to have people that help you and guide and direct you.
And if they can be older, that's really important.
Yes.
Because I've been in scenarios before where I've had peers that are like kind of mentors, and that's better than nothing. But you really want someone who's walked ahead of you. It's just the perspective that they're able to give you is so much more. Yeah. And they're not going to do it. You're not going to do it exactly the way they did it.
Sure.
So it's never going to be I walked here, 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 and here. And then you're like, so okay, cool. I'm going to walk here, 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 and here.
Right.
But like my mentor from college, one of the things he said was, I'm going to tell you this, you should finish grad school before you have kids. And at the time I was like, I'm so busy. I don't want to do grad school. And he's like, you think you're busy now? Yeah, right. You're not busy now. And he would tell me that, and I would get offended, a little bit, because I would be like, yeah, you don't know my life. I'm working full time now. Right. I was in college then. Now I'm working full time. And he's like, you have a 40-hour week job. You're not married.
You have weekends off.
You have weekends off, and you don't have kids. Yeah. Like, you can sleep in. You can go to sleep whenever you want. Right, your life is totally under your control. And so I was like, fine, whatever. I'll just do it. So I just jumped into grad school, and it's like, that one piece of advice was like, drastically changed.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, my brother's right now, like my brother's starting grad school in the fall. He's got 4 kids. And I'm like, dude, what can I do to support you? How can I help you through this? Because we both know this season is going to be insane for you. And it's like, it's not what you want to do. And it's not what he wants to do. But he's like, look, this is what I need for my career. This is the right next step. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and do it. But like, man, I wish I would have knocked this out before.
Yeah, man.